when promoters started out years and years and years ago, they really started out, a lot of them started out with venues. They had something, like not all of them, but a lot of them. I mean, even the major promoters today that are major players in the business, when you go back, 30 years or 40 years ago, they owned a club. That was most of them, not all of them, but they owned the club. The guy in Philadelphia owned one club. The guy in Boston owned that club. The guy in Chicago owned this club. They all started, or most of them again, started in those clubs. There were guys that were just the entrepreneurial promoter guys who just, popped up. There were very few of those, though. Some of the guys that were the big promoters when I first started in the business were affiliated with a building, like Madison Square Garden or actually Madison Square Garden. Some of them didn't exist in those days, but there were buildings in Chicago. The stadium was called in Chicago, which no longer exists. There was a guy that was the buyer for that venue. So today, what's happened is the promoters, now guys will pop up and say, I'm a promoter. What's your venue? Well, I don't have one. I can get whatever. I can get this club. I can get this theater. I can get this arena. Still, the major promoters and major players that started 35, 40 years ago that owned clubs then are now major promoters in the major cities. A lot of them affiliated with Live Nation because they bought out a lot of the big promoters. Um, they own clubs today again. They own theaters, and they own amphitheaters, or at least the company does. They don't particularly directly. So really it's gone back to a scenario where the promoters, not all of them, but the major guys, are affiliated with buildings because in today's world, the profit centers are owning the real estate, as they say. It's not booking the client or booking the artist, rather. It's the parking and the drinks and the rent and the facility fees is where they make their profit. The rest of it's just fluff. So it's kind of getting away from the entertainment side of it, or the live particular artist side of it, and it's more geared towards whatever entertainment, as long as you get people in the building. But that's a business thing. There's still a lot of young promoters around that are not affiliated with buildings, which is what you're getting at. Dealing with them is different because they have to find a facility. It's a little bit more difficult. They may be interested in an act, but they may not have a facility on the day that we need it. Somebody else may have it, or somebody might have an exclusive on it. So there's a lot of competition going on out there. So dealing and calling up and making a booking isn't as simple as maybe I made it seem like 10 minutes ago. It's actually quite a chess game, as somebody once said to me.